Congratulations! Your paper has been accepted for presentation at this year's PAMLA conference. If this is your first time presenting a conference paper, the following suggestions may help you as you begin to prepare. This brief video will provide hints on the following 3 topics: how to prepare your presentation, how to present the paper, and finally, how to prepare yourself. You've written a paper for publication. Now you need to revise it to be presented orally. You only have 20 minutes to present your ideas, so you'll need to condense the arguments and examples in your paper into something that will be comprehensible to your audience in a 20-minute talk. First, simply reading your paper aloud probably won't work. Many written constructions are difficult to follow when spoken. When simply reading your written paper, you are likely to go way too fast for the audience to follow. You are likely to neglect gestures that help the audience follow you. Vocal gestures, volume, pauses, rhythm, intonation. You are likely to forget that facial gestures and eye contact with the audience are important parts of oral communication. You need to rewrite the paper to be delivered orally. You want the audience to follow your argument and understand your main points. This means that you'll want to edit the paper so that the audience can follow your argument and understand your points in 3 ways. Make the structure of the paper clear. Make the language as direct as possible. And reduce the content so that you can go slowly enough to teach the material rather than just declare it. Let's examine each of these points in detail. First, make the structure of the paper clear. What kind of paper is this? Expository? Narrative? Descriptive? Persuasive? Each has its own inherent structure, which you should try to use. Emphasize the structure of the paper in the introduction and as you proceed through its parts. Identify the 3 to 5 main points you want the audience to understand. The basic advice for public speaking is tell them what you're going to say it, and then tell them what you said. Next, simplify the language. Your audience is listening to your talk. Use conversational language. Replace complex sentences with simple declarative sentences. Replace big words with little words or equivalent short phrases. If you use specialized vocabulary, explain it immediately. For example, not everyone in your audience will know what a hypertaxonomic referential derivative is. You need to tell them. Oh, I just made that one up. Include some repetition of the important points to ensure your argument is clear. Finally, reduce the material to be taught. Identify your key points. Remember, you are the expert on your topic. Your audience doesn't know anything about your topic. Provide sufficient context for the audience to get it. What are the 3 to 5 key points you want your audience to understand? No more than 5 points, and 3 is better than 5. Again, the basic rule of public speaking: tell them what you're going to say it, and then tell them what you said. You've invested long hours getting your paper ready to be published. Now it's time to spend long hours getting your paper ready to be presented orally in 20 minutes. Yes, you are giving this talk to help establish your academic credentials with a wide audience. But remember, your audience is there to learn something. So teach them what you've discovered. A good rule of thumb is that for a 20-minute paper, the introduction and conclusion should both be in the 1 to 3 minute range. This leaves you a little over 15 minutes to present your data and make your argument. Now, let's talk about actually presenting your paper. When presenting your paper, remember, it's a conversation. Speak as if to friends. Not too fast, conversational, but loud enough to be heard. and remember to breathe. Make eye contact with the audience. And remember, your audience wants you to do well. Stand, don't sit. And have handouts for your audience. There are a few physical considerations to keep in mind. As mentioned earlier, stand, don't sit. If you're sitting hunched over your laptop, you can't breathe. You can't see the audience. The audience can't see or hear you. Make eye contact with your audience. Use a large font version of your talk, either on your laptop or printed out, with numbered pages so you don't get lost. 14 to 16 point font seems to work pretty well. Handouts and other visual aids enhance your talk. A handout or slideshow can include an outline, a copy of the text you are analyzing, key quotations, diagrams and graphs, pictures pegged to your talk. A slideshow accompanied by a handout gives the audience something to look at and something to scribble on, to take notes. The more senses you engage, the better. Hearing, seeing, writing. Get the audience engaged. Include quotations on the handout. The audience wants to see them. And remember, include your name, affiliation, and email address on the handout. Finally, how to prepare yourself. It is said that public speaking is more frightening than death. This might be true, who knows? But it doesn't have to be. How to overcome this fear? Practice. There's almost certainly a Toastmasters club in your area. Seek it out, attend, join. Toastmasters is a structured public speaking program with a structured public speaking curriculum. You will attain some level of public speaking proficiency by participating, even if only for 2 or 3 meetings. Practice giving your paper orally. This can be a formal presentation to your peers and faculty in a department seminar, or to your advisor in the confines of his or her office, or to friends sitting around your living room, or simply aloud to yourself. The idea is to get familiar with your paper as an oral presentation and to get comfortable delivering it orally. Again, stand, don't sit. Sitting is fundamentally a bad posture for speaking to an audience. It's too hard to breathe. Hunched over your laptop makes it worse. You're hunched over, restricting your diaphragm. You can't breathe, you can't project, and your audience can't hear you. If there's a lectern available, use it. If there's not, simply stand in place with your large font printed talk in hand. Be sure to pause often, looking at your audience to be sure they're following you. Pausing often also gives you time to breathe. Breathing is important. At the end of the session, there will be a question and answer period. This is possibly the most frightening part. If you don't know the answer, say so immediately, and then pivot to something you do know that is related to your talk and to the question. For example, I haven't given much thought to that issue, but in the context of whatever, then say something. The admission that you don't know gives you time to think of something that you do know. And remember, you know a lot. If you do know the answer, state it immediately, and then talk about your topic. Always acknowledge the question and the questioner. For example, "Oh, thank you for that question." "Oh, that's a very good question." If nothing else, this gives you time to come up with an answer. The question and answer period is your opportunity to expound on your topic and your audience's opportunity to learn more about your topic. Your first time presenting a conference paper should be exciting and rewarding and fun. Focusing on the 3 areas discussed above, preparing your presentation, presenting the paper, and preparing yourself will help you approach this wonderful opportunity with confidence.